ירח קר על מגדלים.
אתם על הרדיו הישראלי 107.1 FM. אנחנו אומרים היי to גיל אליאדטו. How are you?
I'm always so happy to be here, Nissan. So happy. How are you?
I'm fine. So many technical problems before the live start, but we are fine. We are on the air. The internet streaming is back to the air. Thank you for the listener that sent us million messages. I know it dropped. Now it's fine. We will fix it. We are just moving the studio now, as I told. So the moment we will move to the new studio, everything will be fine. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm so excited that so many of our listeners care enough to let you know when things are off the air. That's really, I know it's very frustrating.
There's a lot of listeners,
yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
I know it's frustrating when you drop, but how awesome is that you get all those pings? People are paying attention. It's amazing.
People care.
People care. I love that.
And people listen, yeah.
Yes. And speaking of which, last week you talked about the fact that your parents might not be able to get here, and
I succeed to bring them.
Yes. So huge.
I will tell the story what's happened. I talk on the radio, and that I say on the radio that I want my parents here for the Pesach, and one of the airlines company canceled the tickets because they resold my parents' ticket that older like half a year ago in more expensive price. So they're using the war to increase the price of my parents' ticket and resold my parents' ticket. And somebody from one of the airlines company heard what I said on the radio, and a few hours later, my parents was already on the plane. So thank you for this big airlines company. I don't want to mention names, but thank you. They helped me. My parents is here. I'm happy.
So happy. So wonderful. So yay. Another yay. Great things happening.
What did we talk last time?
So last time we talked about AI discoverability and how things are changing from, I talk a lot about Google Brain versus what I've called AIM, AI mindset, and how that now is also shifting really to how companies and people are showing up in AI and getting recommended, and what a huge shift that is in the market. So we started to talk about that last week, and today we'll talk about it more because it's really big. But another thing that I really wanted to share with these changes of how, AI is changing things and all kinds of just how it's shifting everything. Something really big happened, and almost every week you ask me, what am I using in AI? What tools? What do I love? And I have to say, I'm really starting to move more and more away from ChatGPT. I know, there's like a love-hate relationship with ChatGPT for a lot of people, and it's also many people are just familiar with it because, it was really the first to democratize AI. But a couple of weeks ago, something really big happened, and there are a lot of people who are big in the industry and really paying attention to what's happening in AI that are saying that ChatGPT may become kind of like what AOL was for the internet and may be gone soon. So I think it's important to really pay attention to that. And the reason is, I don't know if you know this, Nissan, but Claude was created by a company called Anthropic. And the people who had founded Anthropic, they used to run ChatGPT's parent company. And they left because they wanted to build AI differently. They had different ideas about safety and ethics being at the center of everything that they did. And Claude, through Anthropic, really had a contract with the Pentagon. And last month, did you hear anything about this?
No.
Okay, this is big.
Just tell me.
Yeah, this is big. So last month, the government came back to Anthropic wanting to renegotiate, and they were pushing for two things. They wanted Claude's AI to be used for mass surveillance of American citizens without their knowledge.
Wow.
And they wanted AI running autonomous weapons. And the government...
This is crazy.
It's crazy. And the government had given Anthropic a deadline. And, there was a lot on the line for Anthropic. And Anthropic stood its ground and said no. And the government pulled the contract and took some measures against Anthropic and ordered federal agencies to stop using their products. And now Anthropic has filed 2 lawsuits. They filed them on March 9th. So we're really going to see what happens. But for me, it gave me a new level of confidence and appreciation for the company. So I'm actually moving, just about all of my main AI things from that I was using on ChatGPT over to Claude, and I am experimenting with a lot of that transition. So in the coming weeks, I will definitely share with our listeners the easiest ways to extract the important information from ChatGPT and to really start getting Claude to know you and understand you the way I've previously shared about AI. But I really think that's so powerful that they were so willing to stand on their ethics and protect their users, and it just made me love them even more.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, pretty big. So, along those lines, it's really this whole shift, right? And like I said, there are a lot of people who are really at the pulse of what's happening in the industry who are saying things like, ChatGPT may be like AOL. So who knows? So don't get too comfortable. Look at, Claude or another.
Grok,
I know you love Grok.
Yeah.
You love Grok. I know. I haven't fully gotten there yet, but I do see a lot of value with Grok, especially. I've shared this before, especially when it comes to really seeing what people are talking about in real time about a specific topic, since it pulls from X, right? That can be really, really valuable. So all of that, and we briefly touched upon that everybody in Israel, our hearts and our thoughts are still, of course, with you. And I'm so happy that your parents are here.
They hit the airport a few days ago.
Yeah.
With rockets. So they're here, they're safe, and the most important thing, everything is fine.
Yes. Okay. So today, we are going to continue to really talk a little bit more about this idea of AI discoverability and visibility, and how for a long time, visibility really meant being findable, right? You would punch something in Google, restaurants near me, hotels, whatever, and if someone searched for something, you showed up somewhere in the results, that was enough to at least be in consideration, right? If you're in the full first page of results or whatever, you probably were being considered. But I started to touch upon last week that now something really fundamental has changed, because a lot of searches, a lot more people are searching through AI. And doing that, AI does not show you 10 options anymore. It will give you an answer. And people are also fundamentally searching differently, right? They're not saying, give me the best restaurants near me. They're giving context, like we're all encouraging you to do to get better results. So AI will just give you an answer, and often now, and more, that answer will reference a specific person, an authority, a company, or a framework. And sometimes it doesn't, but the thing is that the people who are being included, or the companies, that is giving them a tremendous competitive advantage for being found and being chosen. And that is just going to become more and more the way things are moving. So it's really important not only that we all, as I say all the time, get really comfortable with AI, but if you run a business or you are an authority on something, this is your first mover's advantage opportunity to get yourself shown up in AI in the results. It's huge.
You said don't trust AI so much. This is what you're trying to say, correct?
No.
Okay,
I mean, we always say that. We always say, right, you need to use common sense, and you need to make sure that if it's something really, important, or like even today, or the last few days as I was preparing for this segment and doing some research, AI started pulling up statistics that were so obvious to me that they were wrong. So you definitely need to pay attention. But the point I was getting to was just really about the changes that are happening and how it's changing the whole game. So really, the searches are different. And last week I talked about how, a website really used to be a storefront, and now it's really shifting to becoming a informer of AI. And the people and the companies who understand this are changing so much the way they are operating, not only with their websites, but with the content that they create and put out. Because, it used to be that, um, and it's still, people are still thinking, the more content I put out, the better off I am, right? And that is still true for being seen maybe on the platforms. However, it's also shifting, because we've talked about in here before how it went from, friends and family to interest in the algorithms. But also the thing is, again, that AI really will pull those people and companies based on how clear you are in your messaging and how it can understand clearly who you are and what you do. So and in fact, if you are putting out lots of content that really makes it not clear, you're going to dilute your message even further from an AI perspective. So it's really, really important that you become more and more clear. You can, in fact, put out less content, but very strategically, and it's going to have you show up more.
How we do it right? I don't know how to do it right. I try.
It's pretty intense. There is a lot to think about, and I work closely with clients on this. But just some things that you really want to think about is that you want it to be very obvious. Like, if somebody reading your content or reading your website, they would have to really understand what answers are you providing, what are you with an authority in. Like, to just say I'm a teacher, for example, isn't enough. But if you say, I tutor fifth graders or I tutor middle schoolers, and you then provide more information about what that service is, that's going to get you showing up in the results versus, someone who maybe does all of those things but just goes out and says, I'm a teacher. Does that make more sense?
Kind of. I'm not sure, but okay.
Okay, so
it's complicated.
It is a little complicated. So people really need to understand and think about it, and reach out, because I can certainly support. I'm helping a lot of businesses get shown up more, which is really exciting. So again, really that first mover's advantage. This is the time to be changing what you are posting, what articles and information you're putting out, and how you are determining what that is, so that it's really, really clear when somebody looks, they understand, because AI also needs to understand very clearly, really. So today, the question is much less, and I've said this a long time, don't trace tools and all of that, but it's really so much less now, shifting from what tools should I be using, or how do I create more, content or context. It's really, well, context is important, more content, but the question really is now, would AI know when to recommend me? Is my expertise clearly defined enough to be selected? Because if AI can't clearly understand it, it's not going to recommend you.
Got it. So, okay, so it's everything what I type in, but the question is, I'm trying to get the best result in ChatGPT, in Grok, and always I feel something missing. I don't know what to put. There's a keyword that I'm missing all the time. There's a guide that actually can help me, or?
Well, so those are two different things, right? There's you as the user looking and trying to get better results. So I've definitely shared some of this, but I'll recap for you to make it easier. And also how it ties back to what we were talking about for discoverability is, again, that people go on and, right, when you go to AI, you don't go and say, like you would in Google, best restaurants near me. You go in and you ask a question. Hey, I want to have Italian tonight. I want to take my wife out. My son is going to come with me, so we want a nice atmosphere, but we don't want it to be too loud, and we want it to be kid friendly, right? You're going to give a lot more now. Things that you can do. So tell me, when you're not getting the answers that you want, is it that it's just wrong, or it's off base? Yeah, tell me.
I have a satellite company in Israel. I provide a journalist service.
Yes.
And I want to get some client. So I asked from ChatGPT, send me email address of a news agency and TV channels. So he gave me a small list. He said, please search deep. So a little bit make it better, but it's not perfect. Something missing. I need to write the right contact to ChatGPT, listen, give me all the email address of all the TV channels in the world, organized nicely. But maybe I'm doing it wrong, maybe ChatGPT do it wrong. I don't know what's the problem.
Okay, so I have a few suggestions. Number one, I think you're asking it to do too many things at once. And
This is the problem.
yes, it's really, and this is also something for threads that you're using, and it's really good to stay in one clear lane. AI gets very confused. It can't do, 10 things in one thread. So, for example, I use a different thread for, sorting my brain dump, and then when I want to move to some help with execution, I'm going to go to a new thread and I'm going to give it new instructions. But I'd say for you, I would start actually by going into a clean thread and saying, here's what I want to accomplish. I want to get, information about the radio stations and what you want. How can I ask that question of you? Ask AI. What is a good way to ask
Why
you?
I need to ask him? Just make the job, do the job. I don't want to make an effort.
Well, listen, if you want better output, you got to give it better input. So I'm giving you some really simple ways to do that. In fact, you can really think less. You can just sit in front of there and say, this is what I'm trying to accomplish, but I'm not sure how. Tell me. And it will tell you a better question to ask it. Then you go and ask it that question. First, you should read it, because a lot of times when I do that, it will give me an answer, and I'll say, you're close, but you're off here. I only want, stations that do serious journalism, right? I don't want Bravo because it's reality TV, for example, right? You might have to refine it a little bit. So then you can let it know. It will give you a new prompt, and then you use that prompt. Now, in that prompt, you don't want to say, I want all of the companies, and I want you to organize it in this way. And first, you want to say, I want you to find, the companies and their head of head of publication, something, right? Then once you get that and you look at it and it makes sense, then you go and say, okay, now I'd like you to sort through it and tell me which ones are from verifiable sources, which ones are correct. And then you can go and say, now sort it for me, in the way I want. But you shouldn't ask it to do all 10 things in one. That's probably a big part of where your issue is.
I'm trying now, but it's not doing it's not perfect. So it doesn't do the job.
Is it better?
It's a little bit better.
Okay.
Slightly.
We'll refine further. But again, did you ask first? Did you ask AI to tell you
how to do it?
how
So
to
you're
ask?
asking me, what do you want exactly? So,
Okay.
give me all the international news agencies. So improve it, yeah.
Okay, so again, it's really incremental. It actually, and that ties back beautifully to what I was saying about AI discoverability, right? When you're giving AI too much to try and work through, it is not going to give you what you want. So if you're getting specific and you're giving it better detail, it's going to give you much better output. And then iterate. So you can start with, I want the list of stations. Then you can take that list and you can say, here's the list. Now, can you help me find the email addresses or, the people at this specific role? And go be incremental. You need to be a little more patient. I know.
Now, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Now I ask him, listen, give me the production department. It looks a little bit slightly better.
There you go. See, you just need to keep refining and giving it more context. And it's also good to tell it what you are ultimately looking to accomplish. When it understands your end goal, it's very helpful as well.
Okay, I'm trying to work on this. Maybe I can find a solution.
Okay, we'll spend a few minutes after the segment today, and I'll help you refine it even further. And then next week you can come and tell everybody how I blew your mind and how obviously they should come talk to me when they have questions.
Okay. I got some list, all the main producer, but I want email address. This is the most important thing.
All right, one step at a time. Okay, great. So look at that. You have refined results. So again, thank you for illustrating my point. You want to be discoverable in AI. You want to be really clear and specific. And excuse me, that's going to change everything. So I know we're coming to our time. I'm going to tell everybody also, in this day and age of AI, we are finding that authentic connection with people is even more and more important than ever. I'm really excited. Actually, on Tuesday, I am hosting a very small event, intimate, I'll call it, not so small, about 30 people. I still have a few spots. Really excited. It's going to be for women, a deep level of connection, not just networking. So if you have an interest, reach out, because I am really curating the room. It's not like an open to everybody. So that's going to be on Tuesday the 24th, and I'm excited. And I'm going to also just, remind our takeaways for today, which is that search engines, they've ranked pages, and AI recommends authorities. So it's no longer just about being present or blasting out. It's really about being selected, and that AI is not just organizing information, it is organizing trust. So the advantage really now belongs to those who are clearly understood. So you got to get clear, and if you're not sure how to do that, reach out to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, it's really important. So as AI becomes more powerful and more connected, the real advantage is not going to come from simply using the tools. It's going to come from how clearly we think about them, how intentionally we design the systems around them, and how thoughtfully we lead the changes they create. If you're integrating AI and you want to move from what I call reactive urgency to structural clarity, it's the work I do with leaders and privately inside organizations. You can reach me, excuse me, 561-257-4551.
What's your website? Your website is supported.
globalai.com, and that's spelled GLOW for glow, or generating light on the world, globalai.com.
Great. Give your phone number again. Repeat about the phone number. People driving, so it's much easier that repeat again.
Thank you. 561-257-4551.
And you lose your voice.
I'm losing my voice.
Yeah, it's fine. Gila Liadato, thank you very much.
Thank you, Nissan.
And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. See everybody next week.
Next week, and maybe next week we're going to be in the new studio already.
Wow, really?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, this is so
I'm not
exciting.
Sure. Yeah, new studio. We're going to have a fiber. Hallelujah. And the most important things, if you buy in a house, make sure you have a fiber connection. If you don't have a fiber connection in your home, don't buy the home. I'm serious.
Oh my God.
It's critical. Back to the music. תודה רבה, גילה.
תודה רבה.
את אומרת לי חיים אני צריכה שבוע קצת לחשוב עלינו כל הראש שלי סרטים מה כבר עשיתי שירחיק בינינו ואת אחת כזאת שלא אומרת שיושב לה משהו על הלב אבל מה לעשות רק אותך כן רק אותך אני אוהב כל הלילה לא נרדמתי ורציתי לפמס לך איפה את מקווה שאת בבית מת מפחד שאת לא לבד הרי יש לי ים של חלומות לרוץ איתך כמו ילד בשדות כמו ילד בשדות